important point is disinflationary over time, meaning the rate of inflation will drop and the curve will start to flatten out. Now it's going up quite fast, and then it's gradually getting slower and slower and slower. To the 8 year point, it is relatively a flat curve, meaning that the amount of coins coming out will be very, very, very low. So
It's
the whole idea is within
minus 1% per month.
Oh yeah.
The difficulty, yeah.
Oh, that's good.
It just means you can still mint the same amount of tokens, but it just requires much more time to do it. And that'll really snowball as time progresses here throughout the years.
Okay.
Eventually, in 8 years, it'll take many generations
to mint.
Be able to mint the same amount of tokens we can mint today.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually think that, it'll kind of work itself out. Even what we're looking at right now, with the buy pressure that we're having, we're also getting, sell pressure as well. But you can't really, whales can't really get in right now. There's not enough supply for them to buy a huge amount right now. It's just not.
What is the supply now? What is the supply now?
Right.
I think the whales know better to buy than to. They know that it's better to mint than to buy as well.
Well, not all of them.
No. It depends. We just did 10x. Now I think it's a good time to buy.
I think it's a very bad time to buy.
Why? We just did 10x.
Because I'm in it for free. 10x is peanuts.
Oh, 10x is good, my friend.
Hey, it's better than minus 10. I agree with that. But that's you're more likely to get minus 10 by buying it right now than a 10x.
Yeah, I still think, I look at it from both angles. Those that are minting, yes, it's probably better to mint right now. Some whales just may not want to mint. They may not want to wait to claim a large amount. They're mostly want to have the tokens in their wallets right now. So I think some of them came in at the floor. We saw a floor form.
And some people, some people that minting, they start to buy too. When they see the price pump, they start to buy, right?
Yeah, it's kind of like Bitcoin. You had some that mined Bitcoin, but then you had some that bought from the miners. So I think it goes both ways. You're gonna have a little bit of.
You're right. You're right.
Let me, as a comparison though, you can't compare a proof of work coin to this because proof of work coin requires continuous expenditure in terms of minting the coins. You can't go off 1 day or 2 days and 3 days and expect to make a profit. With minting, you merely pay the gas upfront for the claim and the mint process once at the end. So it's very, very different. And you do not have to monitor or maintain the operational. There's no operational maintenance on your part. You just leave it be.
Yeah, well, even if you went to Ethereum, right? They're miners for Ethereum right now, validators. But when it was, those that did, mint Ethereum, it was the same way. It's just the supply is getting the supply out there. I don't care what method you use to get it out there. Some people are gonna prefer to just buy loads of it, and some are going to spend the effort or the sweat equity to actually mint. That's just, and that's healthy. I think that's healthy because it kind of reflects a melting pot of how we are as a humanity. You got people with different preferences, people with different various levels of capital, so they can do things You know, I can't go drop $1 million and pick up a whole herd of Zen supply, you know, but some can. And it's like like $100 to them, or, you know, I'm just saying, man.
Larry, do you know about the liquidity pools?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So essentially, even if you had $1 million now, you can't buy $1 million of Zen because they're just not available on the market.
Exactly. Exactly. That's why I was saying I don't think we have enough to start attracting big, but the exchanges do. They have quite a bit of supply. If they wanted to go through
So if you
exchanges,
had $1 million and you wanted that amount, wouldn't you rather start a bot farm to mint it for free?
nah, because I would want to wait a whole year to claim. Yeah.
But we
I
just
mean,
agreed you can't buy it. You can't
yeah,
buy
Might
it because
you
might
can
not be
buy
right
it's not
now
some.
when
available.
you can buy it.
You maybe can't buy $1 million worth, but I'm saying you can, if you wanted to get 100 millions in right now, you could get it at a discounted price. You know, if you're looking at it relative to where you speculate that it's going in the future, you know, right? If I had to wait a year, you know, I could do so many X's, getting it now and just holding it. You know, I'm just saying I won't. I'm not doing that, and I'm a mint. But I'm just saying some people just may not want a mint. You know.
Exactly why, as you mentioned, you want to buy it and wait for a year, but you could also bought it for that $1 million, and when you get it in a year, you're gonna have a lot more.
Well, there's a lot of game theories as involved, right? But like the guy said, I mean, if people believe that it will go up, the value of the token go up within a year, and I think, and it shows that people have been buying, right? So that's why it's at like around 7 million market cap right now, or 7 or 8, right? Uh, I bought, I mint, right? It's pretty much all what you think is gonna happen. Now, do I plan to trade the coins that I've been buying within a period within a year? While waiting for my minted tokens? Maybe, right? So yeah, it kind of depends on what you believe the token is going to do. I think within a year, I think it's going to go up. So those that have actually bought in right now, I think they can make some money off it.
If you're a trader, a short-term trader, yeah, definitely. But if you are going to be a whale and you're going to say, I'm only going to sell in a year, for that 1 million, you bought and mint a lot more than you could buy.
Yeah, but whales. I mean, true whales. I'm not saying all of them, but true whales, at least I've seen, is in hex. They're not dumpers. They leg in their positions and they leg
Exactly.
out. They leg out of their positions. So they, you know, we got this misconception of, you know, what whales typically do. They could wreck the chart at any time, but they will be actually working against themselves if they did that. So they leg into positions and they leg out. You know, so that the same with Zen right now. They may, I mean, some may mint, you know, but I'm just saying, like, to get the supply in your wallet right now, if I have the capital, you know, I mean, why would you not? You know, when you see the potential in the project, you know. So I mean,
This is
either
exactly
way, I think it's healthy.
right now you can get for dirt cheap right now. Just gotta watch the price impact, right, in regards to the liquidity pool, but it will tell you whether that's if there's any big price impact. You cannot buy in like 12,000 right now because that will probably have like an 8% price impact, right? So you probably want to do that. But like a $6,000 buy, probably 3% price impact. Yeah, I think right now is a good time to buy. If you believe in the project, for sure.
Well, I mean, I think it's healthy either way, because we're getting free. I mean, it's getting free marketing with, you know, the centralized exchanges, you know, promoting trading, you know, like, you know, the protocol itself or the project itself doesn't encourage trading. It encourages minting and holding long term, but getting the marketing out there to help with adoption is also good. You know, 16 exchanges, 18 exchanges, and they're, you know, their marketing's in, you know, they make off the bid, the spread between the bid and ask, you know, so they're making money, you know, but it's a plus for Zen, I think.
What is the current price for Zen? And what's the market cap?
Last I checked, market cap was like maybe 7 or 8 million, I think. And the prices were kind of going between 36 to like 40, maybe 30 or 30 to, it's kind of fluctuating between 30 to 4, like 5 zeros and in a 3 is where it's at, I think.
And what do you see the price after 1 year or in the next bull market?
Man, I don't know, man. I'm excited about the ride though.
To be honest with you, I think Zen right now, I don't think the conditions of the market affects Zen at the moment. I think it's actually one of those unique coin where I don't think it's going to affect it that much, especially at its early stages right now. I think this is
Agreed.
actually very early right now. So as
I
we
agree.
saw, I mean, it went up 400%. I mean, within 48 hours. So that's just to show that right now and today it went down 34% over in ETH. You know, so I think right now the market conditions right now, I don't think it affects anything right now. It's all based on speculation right now. Pretty much that's it, right? Sentiment of the people. That's it. If you believe in this project long term, which I think I do, I think it will rise, regardless of the market.
Yeah, I think Jack has said that he expects it kind to track with the inflation or the cost of gas for Ethereum, right? So if the gas goes up on Ethereum, you know, that's going to be higher, that mentors are going to be paying to mint their coins. So that would, I think, add some buy pressure to Zen. The fact that people are paying more gas to mint. So yeah, I think it's
That part,
can correlate with the gas of Ethereum.
that
Well,
part
I
I'm not
think
necessarily convinced, right?
well,
So
I think it's
essentially,
because
the value of 1 second is the value of any crypto is based on the economic energy, right? If the price of gas should go way high up, it could be and you can actually see it right now. The other chains are growing faster and faster than Ethereum, even though Ethereum started first. Now, with over time, as more and more functionality comes out, initially it might seem that the Zen on Ethereum might have a higher value because it's tied to gas. But imagine if the goals are actually achieved even partially, and most of the world are minting Zen and actually using Zen with a higher liquidity pool on other chains. It could mean that Zen on a cheaper chain, I'm not sure which chain, it could be Polygon, maybe not Polygon, maybe it's Fmos, maybe it's a Doge chain that could have a higher value. It is not necessarily equal to the gas cost. It's equivalent actually to the liquidity pool and activity, the economic energy of the coin. And that's what gives it value. That's why you find coins with per unit value, dollar value being really low, but overall there's a high value to that particular coin simply because the community is large and the utility is more and there's greater economic energy. And that's what it really depends on, not on the gas price.
Well,
well,
I think it's a variable, right? Because I mean, you know, let's just say Ethereum, you had I think there's at like 300-day, like I think it starts at like 100-day, you know, 285 and like 400 or 300 is like a lot of mint claims are going to hit at one time. But let's just say hypothetically, the Ethereum gas is up during that time. Well, there's not a lot of people, that will probably have the capital to claim, to pay that high gas cost to claim. So the more people that are not able to procure their tokens, the less supply you have on the market, which means, that it's going to make Zen disinflationary at that point, is what I mean. But I agree. There are other variables. I don't think we can point at one and say that, that's going to be, the one
To
think
give you
that.
an example, if you were to open two wallets today, brand new wallets, and one if you were to mint for max number of days on the Ethereum, another if you were to mint for the max number of days of Polygon, not talking about dollar value, which one are you going to get more Zen on? You know?
Yeah, I mean, you'll get more on Polygon for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah. But each one of those each chain though is going to it's going to develop their own characteristics, right? I was just speaking of ETH.
Correct.
I wasn't necessarily speaking of the other chains, based upon kind of Jack assessment of ETH. But the other chains could do something totally different just because gas is not a factor, over there.
Yep, I agree with you. So even if you get let's say the Zen on Ethereum having a higher cost per unit, so dollar value, let's say USD per Zen on is higher, and USD per Zen on Polygon is lower. But if you get a lot more on Polygon, which I suspect is what people are doing right now and what will continue in the next 8 years, you might find that you get a lot more economic value on the whole on as Zen you would get in a unit of time. And you might decide, hey, you know what? Minting a lot more Zen on Polygon might be the way to go. But it's this part is speculation.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Hey guys, nice to see you guys, hear you guys talking. Just
Hey, what's going on, Honey Deals?
Deals. Hey man.
Deals.
Hey. So yeah, I was listening to both of you, Larry and Ray. So I was just thinking about that, what you were saying, and I just was thinking of how. So you're talking about economic energy being what is captured, right? And I'd like to point out that while that is the case, and it is the case, like ultimately it's economic energy, it's not the full story. There's also the asset, right? So yes, the economic energy, but how much is it concentrating this economic energy and how much is it holding it, right? So when there's a pump and a dump, there's economic energy that came in, but it didn't actually concentrate or hold it because it was speculation. So there's the speculation is bringing in economic energy, but the asset is not able to hold it, right? So when you're talking of like long-term for Polygon or Ethereum or anything, I think ultimately the bigger objective, in my view, is the asset quality, more so than just the economic energy. How will it be able to hold that economic energy? And what is it that would contribute to that, right? So in the case of like Polygon, there being a lot of users coming in, a lot of demand, that means that there's a use case for it. And what would have that continue other than a just moment of speculation would be the use cases, right? So it's not just about the activity, but it's the use cases. And what's the best use case, but the very community and the fact that it's that people hold the token and they use it and they build upon it. So ultimately, while it is true, absolutely, that Polygon can could outpace Ethereum at some point in terms of percentage, I think what's the most important thing to keep in mind is the total value capturing aspect of Zen itself as a full ecosystem, and that more so than even a competition between one chain or another chain, the use case is what really does capture that economic energy and concentrates it and keeps it. So that's where you go beyond the speculation aspect. And that's where crypto's has had issues, right? Like you can have economic energy come in, but how do you hold it? So I just wanted to mention, because that's where all the things that were coming to mind as I was listening to you guys. Like that's the biggest, most important thing. And we can buy on different chains and hold different denominations of Zen. But ultimately it's all about making Zen and building those use cases. Those use cases are really the bigger factor in holding and trusting and holding that Zen. It'll help every single blockchain, every other blockchain.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. And I actually would like to add on to that. I think it's kind of three things really that that helps with the success of the project, right? So initially it was the vision of the founder and the team initially to build. You had to get some people to buy into the vision. I think it's done very, very well with that. And then the use cases comes next, right? So when the use cases come, and the further development of the project with the NFTs, and I'm sure some other things are going to come down the line, but at some point you're going to need success stories. And what I mean by that is this is where the X's come in. So when people come into the project, yes, they buy into the vision, they see the use cases, but ultimately there need to be some X's to it to create success stories. And then as those success stories are created with people winning at that level, then ultimately that really further expands the adoption, because people talk, people post, and your story is more powerful than anything. So when you tell someone about crypto, it's one thing, but when you tell them the success that you had in it, that's more powerful than anything, I think. And so I think all of those three kind of working together, really, really helps.
Yeah, but here's the thing, Larry, and you put your finger on I think on the exactly on the point there, is that I know, and it's like I see so much of this. We're all been biased, okay? The crypto market has gone a certain way, and we've kind of defined it that way as if that's actually what it is. But it's just a technology. It's just blockchain, and there's so many ways that it could be used. And what Zen is really trying to do is to go where crypto has not yet gone, as that medium of exchange aspect. And it's just been this medium of speculation and store of value of economic energy, but not necessarily, it's never reached to the state of being something like real estate, right? Because real estate has a very clear use case. You buy a house, you can live in it, right? You buy crypto, what do you do with it? It's a tool of speculation. So the stories, the success stories, they kind of speak of the speculation, the success in the speculation aspect of it. Okay. But that's the thing that what I'm trying to allude here is the use case where Zen is actually has use case. And that power, although it doesn't seem as quick or as dramatic as, you know, a high speculation, a huge amount of money that comes in very quickly, it's the fact that it doesn't go out, that it just accumulates and accumulates, and it grows and it grows and it grows, and it just doesn't want to go out. Why does it want to go out? Because there's things being built and use cases, and you can actually do stuff with your Zen. Then it becomes real estate. And when that starts to happen, when Zen is real estate, it's no longer just a token. It's something that has an economy of itself, the Zen economy, the omni chain, all this stuff going on. I mean, that's the big gain. That's where I hope that those are involved early, you know, get to reap those gains, the gains that would come a little further along than a high pump. But yeah, it's that making it into something that that crypto has never yet done, which makes it that Zen, I mean, if something touched to it, it would be Bitcoin, right? Like Bitcoin has touched to that, Ethereum, like where you see it as an asset because there's really like many use cases and people actually hold it. But for the rest of the tokens, for the most part, there have been speculations, and it would be cool that a small token that people can print themselves and that there's many of them in which there's actually available so it can reach to mass adoption, which is very hard for Bitcoin at this point because it's been acquired, you know, for the most part. It's very expensive, and it can't do so many functions for the people, for the use cases. So it would be the first time that a coin that can be printed, have plenty of them, could be used for contracts, exchange, all kinds of things, would be held by a massive amount of people. And yeah, I you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, you know, I get that part. You're speaking of the use cases, right? So what I'm speaking of though is people coming into, so whenever you tell the story to encourage adoption for Zen, you're encouraging people to come into crypto, which is the greatest performing asset class that we have ever seen. So when people come, the pitch that they're going to pull someone into, it's not going to be the use cases. It's going to be the potential for them to onboard for profits. And I'm not saying that we should lead with that, but I'm saying everyone that's.
I hear you, Larry, but let me ask you this. What inhibits any other coin to do the same exact thing over and over and over again? We've seen it over and over again. You come from that reason to make the big gains. Once you're done, you move on to the next one. But let me ask you this. What is it that would make that people wouldn't drop it? Because it's easy to come, but what will make them not go? That's the part.
I'm saying those are the use cases. And again, when I started off, I said all three: the vision, the use cases, and the stories is what I was talking about. I'm just saying you can't just say the vision and use cases. Like You can't just, yeah.
I'm not saying that. What I'm basically saying is that that part that you're speaking of, it kind of goes without saying. Like people will come for gains, or will come for because the project is working. You know, the speculative side, it's already settled. This is already settled in in crypto. That's like most people come for the gains. But what I'm adding to it now is like, what is it that makes that they don't go to the next speculation, the next speculation, the next speculation? Obviously they come for the gains. So that's, I think, is where the greatest value is, because that force of concentrating value, of building up economic energy and keeping it, actually keeping it, and on top of it building even more and more, and then more attracts more, and that's the that's the vision, that's the thing that we haven't seen yet. And to be in
Right.
the beginning of that is incredible. If
But
if
what
Gun is
would
the
want to
one
make,
that,
yeah, for sure. But what I'm saying is, when they come in, just say you bring them in with vision, and you bring them in with use cases. What would help? What would help with them retaining or staying in the project? If the price, just say, if the price remained what it is right now, let's go with that 100 deals. If the price remained only what it is right now, and it's just flatlined, okay, and you brought someone in with the vision and the use cases, and then the price didn't appreciate at all, do you think that person is going to stay? How long do you think they're going to stay?
I can answer that. If the price stays, that means it is not the price itself is not inflationary. I think you'll get 96% of the world. That's exactly why a lot of the world, especially in underdeveloped countries, use the US dollar. Even though they have their own currency, they don't want inflation. It's not because there's mad gains in the US dollar. It is because their own currency is being inflated such that they can't have a stable price. If the price was to just stop today on Zen and flatlined, it'll capture more of the world. What you need is that utility. Now we are
Right.
lucky to be here at the very initial part of crypto. So most of us don't have to worry about our next meal, right? We're pretty much guaranteed. We have some disposable income. We are not representative of most of the world. And as Jack clearly pointed out, we are trying to onboard not necessarily just the people in crypto, but the 96% of the world that don't have crypto. Now, if you can guarantee a stable price, more or less a stable price, then when the barriers of entry are so low as what we have in Zen now, we essentially capture the world.
Well, to piggyback, or to come back with that, if it flatlines, you're losing, because if the value, well, if we are pegging it to, someone has to look at the dollar. If the dollar is right now losing value, and you're getting hit with inflation, if it flatlines and it never goes up, you're losing. It's kind of like a savings account. You put money in the savings account, you're not going to get much on it. You're actually losing because of inflation. We know they're not going to stop printing dollars. We know. So
Brother, you realize you're coming from a different position, right?
well, I'm
I'm
saying,
guessing you're American.
no,
I'm guessing you're American, so it's different, right?
well, it's
The
inflation. It's
inflation in US
worse.
is bad. The inflation in
Inflation.
US is bad, but the rest of the world is much, much, much worse.
So that even further points my case. You know,
No, meaning that even if it
inflation.
flatlines according to the dollar, even if it's the same price as a dollar, I mean it's fixed, the rate against a dollar. Trust me, it's going to be so successful. You just wouldn't believe it. I'm talking about globally, right?
but okay, Larry, I want to point something out here to what you responded to, Ray. So let's just say it was flatline. Now, I don't think it's flatline. If it ever gets to stability like that, it will have grown first. Okay, there will have been a growth, quite a considerable growth till it reached that capacity to be, like the US dollar. But let's just take that example. Let's say it is flatlining. The minute you have use case, and let's say you have 100 use cases or 1,000 use cases, but even just one use case, you can't say, if it flatlines, you can't say that you're losing, because you already have a use case. That use case is free. That use case is actually, you're using it. So the US dollar has a lot of use cases, right? It can remain stable. It's not an issue, but it has a whole bunch of use cases. So every use case that you add on it is a win if you're actually stable. Again, I don't think it would be stable before quite some time that it would reach to that point. There would be a growth before it could reach to that like stability. But then you would have a whole economy, and then you would have people in DeFi, which are, self-sovereign, and all the security and all the freedom that comes with it, and that is not nothing. So, but before that, again, for you or me or anyone in the beginning, there definitely would be a growth before we would reach that, and that would be a tremendous success for crypto, for Zen. So I just want to point that out. Every use case that you get, well, it's not going down. But if you have a coin that's speculative and has no use cases and just speculative, well, you better make gains. And if it's speculative and the way that they're usually built, obviously there's always two sides to the trade, and for every winner there's a loser, and usually more losers than winners. And where's the use case? So like basically that's a losing.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, if it flatlines, we already have stable coins. We don't really need it to perform like a stable coin. Is all I was saying. It's a right now. It's
what
right
stable
now.
Coin like?
Huh?
What stable coin? What stable coin do we have?
Well, we have USDC right now, and USDT. I mean, those are the the stables that we died fell off, but.
But can you get a 7.5% yield with that and pay for your retirement as it is now, or you're not even keeping up with inflation? Is it really a stable coin?
Well, I'm saying,
can you invest with the US dollar and hope to get a yield that catches up and that really can pay for your retirement? If Zen could reach to that would be solving a problem that we already have, in which a lot of the world is trying to find where they could put their economic energy and actually generate some yield, a reasonable yield without all the crazy risk that goes with it, and which ends up being not any yield at all.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't want it to be a stable or a currency, because we already have those, right? I mean, I don't want it to be regulated like that, because if they have the properties of that, eventually it's going to be regulated, because that's what it's being. I don't think that's the vision of it. It's an asset. It's an investment. That's what I'm saying. Like,
no, I get
I
it.
look at it like that's what I look at it like.
I mean, I'm hitting into your questions and comments. I'm just, digging into them. This is like always here, discussion and stuff. It's right. I mean, what I'm saying is the US dollar, is it really stable? Is it getting devalued? Is inflation, happening, and people are trying to scramble to try to find some kind of decent yield? You put in your bank and you're getting, not even 1%, and yet inflation is 8, 9, 10%. Where's the yield in that? What's the stability in that? And what about you in 20 years from now? What are you going to have done with that? So what if Zen reached what Ray's alluding to, real stability? And obviously, I think for that to happen, there would have to be quite some growth before that to reach that. And on top of it, that governments can't regulate it, and that there's not that threat that you're mentioning, because it's DeFi and it's blockchain. So for the early adopters, there's not even a question in my mind that there's a huge amount of gains, but the end game is that the world has this really strong, secure, new type of currency that governments cannot devalue and destroy, and give them security and prosperity, not in an unreasonable, speculative, high risk way, in a true, like I'm talking about, like just 10% yield, 15% yield, what has been the case for the most amount of history, not these crazy numbers, right? These,
Right.
yeah.
Right. I mean, I don't, all of it is speculation right now. All I was just saying is, I mean, you all three. I just like to see all three in play. Like I said, going back to originally said, the vision, the use cases, yes, but the success stories. Like, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess maybe it's more than one way to look at it, but like I said,
But don't worry about it. We're talking long time. We're talking in 10
oh
years
yeah,
from now.
oh yeah,
15
oh
years
yeah.
from
This
now.
is well, that's what I was saying.
Money. The success stories will be you for being there from day one, basically. Those will be the success stories of having participated in that new invention, technology, breaking through something that was basically, for centuries, a problem. And coming back to sound money, those will be the success stories. You don't have to worry about that. But I think what Ray was alluding to was more the ultimate goal. Once things are really, it's like there was a lot of growth in the United States, and it created this huge middle class. At some point, when you have all that huge middle class, it's just about people maintaining their prosperity more than anything, and being able to spread that out. I mean, at some point, it has to stabilize, right? It can't just grow at the same pace all the time forever. And if you can reach to some kind of just continuous growth, it's awesome. And it's fair distribution,
Yeah, I mean, I go back to what I said. I just think that people that come in right now, the reason that they come in right now and they invest when an instrument is as low as it is, like Zen or Sheeb or Doge, those people are coming in with the hope. Like they're coming in with hope. Like a lot of them, I'm blessed, man, where I'm at right now, but I know there are many more that are not as fortunate as I am and don't have the capital that I may have, or you may have, or Ray may have. And so those people are coming in, they're thinking about their families. And so if they come in, yes, they buying into the vision, they're buying into the use cases, but man, they're coming in with the hope for price appreciation, and that'll happen over long term because the vision is saying, hey, don't try to speculate right now, don't trade right now. Long term, hold this thing, teach delayed gratification. Yes, learn this, but rewards, are coming in your future, and so that's.
Are you worried? Are you worried?
Oh no,
I don't know. Are you worried that
no,
there won't be growth? Okay.
no. When
I
we
like the
were talking
example
about,
that Jack. I like the example that Jack used to gave a couple of times. Jack Levin. He mentioned that when Google first started, they didn't even have a way to monetize, right? But we know now, in retrospect, that eventually they found a way to monetize and they found a way to grow. So, but if you were there in Google's first days, a lot of people didn't think much of Google as like a free service searching. And it's easy for us to look back and say, yeah, we'd have expected Google to win. But there are lots of examples like that in the crypto world. Do you realize that example was Amazon was losing about 200 million a year. Now, anybody who was investing back then probably got insulted. People, I remember friends telling each other, "You're a fool, man. You're investing in a company that's losing 200 million a year after year. Are you crazy?" So I think the success stories will come if we provide that functionality and we grow it, not just with the people who are in the back end developing the code, but also with us onboarding people and growing the community, the success stories will come, and we don't have to worry too much about it. The price I mentioned about it flatlining, that is just a thought experiment, and I'm sure that if many people are using it, the community grows, and there's active economic transactions, it will be there. It will grow. I'm just not too concerned about it.
Oh yeah, I'm right there with you, Ray, man. And you know, we're just talking, and I just like to see I see the big picture. I see the big picture, and I was just saying, hey, all of it kind of plays a part in this thing kind of doing something that no other crypto has done. I truly believe that. And the vision has already been out there. The seed has been planted. So I believe that the vision will come to pass as it was intended to. That conception of a vision is where it begins, right? We see the dynamics of how it unfolds, but someone has already conceived the idea. So uh I just I think that all those three are gonna be a part of the story.
Like, look at this, Larry. Like, have you ever invested in a, because once you have a currency and there's a certain stability, let's just take the Ray's example, we're further along, but now we have like really stable cryptocurrency in the real sense, not just a peg to the dollar, because a peg to the dollar is no cryptocurrency at all. I mean, it's just a function here that it's serving to peg to the dollar, but the dollar is going down. So it's the dollar. So you have a cryptocurrency which is truly stable, not devaluing. And have you ever invested, for example, in something that generates a yield? Like, you couldn't take dollars, even if the dollar weren't devaluing, you could invest it in something and actually generate a yield. So we've seen that often in crypto, that to use that model. It's the most simple model. So you invest, there's usually a time component or whatever, and you get a yield, right? But have you ever invested with crypto where you're supposed to get a yield, and then you get the yield, but your capital, the very crypto you invested with, loses its value? Like, have you ever experienced that? I don't know how long you've been in crypto, where you invest with a coin, you're supposed to get a certain amount of yield. You get the yield in, say, some other coin or whatever, but the coin itself goes down, and at the end, it's like maybe you're not only you just break even, but you're actually under. Have you ever experienced that?
Yeah, for sure.
Right. So that, imagine in Ray's example where you have a Zen, which is so much activity, use case, and economic energy involved, growing at maybe not a super speculative rate, but just consistently and very wide and large. And now you're generating your yield. And not only that, your underlying crypto is actually gaining. The capital you invested is actually gaining somewhat, and you're getting all your yield. Like, imagine how awesome that would be. Like, in the long-term sense, not just for like 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, but like you could just get it for years and trust that your capital is going to stay stable or grow, and you're going to get all your yield. Like, that's a
Yeah,
world,
for
that's a
sure.
game changer. That's a game changer for the whole world. I mean, that's what the whole world wants. So yeah, I mean, I think that's that's like the best scenario we could imagine, because anything beyond that becomes unrealistic, and thus is just, not realistic. It's not going to happen that way. It has to be just right, reasonable, in a nice progression, and get to that massive adoption. And once a lot of people have it, well, you have to spread out everything, evenly. And that's how it becomes the better even than Bitcoin, the asset, the real estate, the real estate of crypto. I mean, it's funny because because most projects with crypto, and this is the contradiction with them, is that they want to reach to adoption, right? What crypto project doesn't want adoption? They all do. But the way they go about it with is they try to attract people through big gains, right? Quick gains, good big gains, okay? What you were alluding to. But then the price goes up, it pumps. And then what happens? It shuts down the adoption. Now you're smart, you've done crypto, you look at that, you look at all the green candles, you say, okay, well, this is done. I'm not buying this coin. Like, I'm too late. So you don't commit, you don't adopt. Okay, maybe it'll crash and then you maybe will, but then you will say, yeah, you know what? Like, this coin, I'm not feeling it, whatever. But, and maybe it's not going to come up again as much. And that was a kind of, a one-time thing, and you'll move on to the new shiny one, and so on and so forth. But what if it didn't do that? What if it just grew and grew, and then there was more use cases and more use cases, and it just grew and it corrected, but it kind of had this long growing trend, and you were getting yield, and you can invest in stuff, and you could use it with stuff and all that stuff, So that reaches to mass adoption, what all crypto projects want, but they fail to do because they fall into the trap of trying to attract that adoption through high speculative growth and high risk ultimately. And it's just over and over again and again. And this was going on. And it just ends up being like, I say often, it's like a poker game, and the chips are just shuffling around from hand to hand to hand. But the poker table is not generating any kind of real growth. There's not really the adoption, the mass adoption. There's not new players coming in. I mean, there was, but I think we've reached that limit. We've reached like the Wall Street crowd kind of thing. We could get a few more, but the 96%, they want something for their retirement. They want normal yields with low risk that actually actualizes.
Well, I mean, I hear you, and I actually think that that is helping with the marketing of Zen for it to pump like that, because it's on all of the exchanges. So they're marketing Zen. So when essentially that game is going to be played either way. I don't care what crypto it is. It's going to be played. People are going to come in and just short term. That's just the game they play. Short term, traders are going to come in. You're going to have those, whether it was on the exchanges or not. If it was just on Uniswap on the dexes, it would be the same way. So, but I think those that are smart enough to see it pump like that, they will come to see about the project. I've noticed there's been an increase in the Telegram, members. So they're marketing it, and people are seeing it. Traders are seeing it, but you have sincere people that are seeing it that would not have otherwise have seen it if they didn't see that huge price appreciation or huge percentage gain. And so I think it helps, but the vision of Zen, hopefully the people that do come in to actually check it out, then they will see the purpose of it, and they will read the white paper, and they will get involved with the community, and they will realize, hey, I can mint this rather than buying it. So, I think you just got a multitude of people, man. Like, everybody is just, there's so many differences, man. Like, all of us are different. All of us have different, financial, goals and different purposes.
What's bullish? What's bullish is when people come in and they wreck themselves, okay, somewhat, okay, because that's inevitable in the beginning, right? And they didn't read the white paper, they don't know. They come in and then they look at it and they're like, that's, they fought it and all that, right? But then there's like these other users, the could call it the Zen army, okay, so to speak, which are playing it actually how it was designed. They read the white paper, they're aligning themselves with Zen, and they're kind of just keep going at it, right? And the price doesn't actually, and the project doesn't fall. And then they're like, okay, let me give another shot. And they give another shot at it. And having these people like bounce onto Zen and wrecking themselves and coming back and coming back, I swear, by the fourth time that they're coming back to it, maybe in a year from now or 2 years, they tried it once, they tried it twice. They're trying to make it into something it's not. They're trying to speculate on it. It's a speculative coin. They think that's how all cryptos are. And they just, they bounce off of it. It doesn't work the way they thought. They didn't see it as it actually was. On the fourth time that they come back, they're gonna try 4 times harder. At some point, they're gonna say, "Okay, I'm done with this nonsense. I'm not wasting my time anymore. I've lost enough time," and they're gonna load up even more, and they're gonna try to learn better and adjust better. So yeah, like don't see all the all the all the people that are looking for speculations when they realize that something else, that Zen is something else. It's another level. It's a new standard. They will come back, and I find that just very bullish, that part of it. And we've already seen signs of it happening. People that were fighting it, they were calling it, just the worst I've ever actually heard about a coin. Like they would literally say it's the worst coin ever from day one, and they will be proven wrong just because of the tokenomics of it and what it actually is, and they could not see for themselves. They'll come back, and this happened with Bitcoin. Same thing, selling it, not trusting it, and they come back and they come back again.
Right. That absolutely, man. And let's just be honest here, though. Zen was beat down, man, for like 24 days, man. I mean, it dumped for 24 days. And I don't know what people expected it to do is to keep dumping. I mean, at some point it's gonna bounce, man. I mean, when I saw it, trend reverse, I knew it was coming at some point because it's not a pump and dump. You get what I'm saying? So like you're not gonna just beat up on it like that and people don't see value in it and start investing in it. I just, so when it reversed like that and it found somewhat a local bottom, I don't know if it's gonna reverse back and go down lower or what, but it dumped for 24 days. I mean, did people think it was just gonna keep dumping? I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm looking at it wrong, man.
They're looking at the price. That's the thing. Like, yeah, it dumps, and the more it dumps, the better it is. This I've enjoyed saying many times, to be honest, like especially in like people in price chat, like talking about how many zeros the price is. Like the more zeros there is, the more bullish is for Zen. Because the more zero there is, the more people are printing Zen. Obviously, it's hitting the supply. The supply is hitting the market. It's creating more zeros, and more zeros means there's more people printing Zen, means the user adoption is bigger than it was yesterday, and it's just crazy, bullish for Zen because of the user adoption and the amount of zeros at the end. If there were only 10 people who bought Zen, how many zeros would there be, right? So, from the initial speculation price, because this is all starting at some initial, price that had nothing to do with any Zen, because Zen was zero supply. How could there be a price to a coin that has zero supply? But MEXC, put a price, 1.6 cents, and then it just starts going down and down and down. If 10 people would have bought it and it was 1.6 cents, it wouldn't have not had that same trajectory. So it's just super bullish. But how many people are looking at it like that? How many people are actually looking at that more zeros, the more bullish for Zen? They're not. They're just looking at the price. So, but it says nothing about how bullish it is. Are they really counting the wallets? Are they looking at the user adoption rate? They're looking at the Omni chains, that it's on 9 chains in like 3 weeks. Like, why are they not looking at that? Like, how bullish can you get? How bullish has a crypto been? How have you ever seen, Larry, ever a crypto so bullish? If you just don't look at the price, just look at the crypto and what it's done. Have you ever seen something that was bought by so many people so quickly and had so much developments in such a period of time? Or
Nah,
close?
I don't think none of us have, man. And if someone else has, let me know which other coin has done something like that.
Nah,
Exactly.
not in my time. This is some new shit right here.
So it's all misunderstanding, and they'll come back. Those I'm not worried about. Those who are wrecking themselves, they're the ones I'm the least worried about in terms of, will they come back? Of course they'll come back, because when you're wrecking yourself all over the market, you're going to go back. You're going to want to go back where you'll stop wrecking yourself. So it's just a question of time with those who have not read the white paper, have not thought about it, have not learned about it, right? It's time that people will reach to them and explain them a little bit better somehow. But eventually, and we have a long growth, ramp timeline here, so they have plenty of time to catch up. And it's never too late. It's not one of those, shit coins that, after those initial people got in, it's too late to buy it. It's not one of those. So they have plenty of time to come back. And it's a new, it's really is a new way of looking at crypto, and you can't expect people to understand it. They're just looking at price, those ones.
Yeah, for sure.
Money deals. You've been here from the beginning. I was here close to the beginning, and still I'm just blown away, man. I just go to sleep, I wake up, and suddenly, surprise, surprise, you change. I don't know what to say, man. I look at the growth of it, and I just checked the Zen.fyi. Oh man, the number of new addresses that claim, the number of new chains that we're on, and Jack hasn't stopped developing, right? He's still got all this stuff coming up, and in short order as well. It's like I don't know if there's ever been such a coin on so many chains so quickly, and with so much of growth so quickly as well.
Man, the same here, Ray, man. And I was thinking about this earlier, man. I was like, it really is kind of like the fruit of what was built in to Zen, right? Zen is like it was called the people's, currency, people friendly. So, give it away with a little gas. So it's like benefiting the chains, and it's benefit and now that the exchanges are involved, they're making money off of the traders, so it's benefiting them. So it's like this is the fruit of when you have that type of mentality that, hey, I get most adoption when I make it fair, when I make it free, when I just give, almost like it when I give it away. Like, there's a famous saying that said, give and it shall be given back to you, man. So I love it, man.
Exactly, brother. And can you imagine? And you tell somebody, you know what? There's going to be an 8-year airdrop, and it still goes on after that, though much lower. 8-year airdrop. Just imagine that.
Wild.
How many people, for example, I was talking about like People are looking at the price and are not looking at the adoption rate and how many zeros it's adding and how bullish that is, right? So it's easy to see that a majority of people are not looking at that because they don't understand the coin. They didn't read the white paper. They're just hearing about it. So they look at the price, they look at the charts. How many people are thinking about the fact that all around the world and just about all the countries, their banks and their governments are the ones that are printing their money in the way and the amounts at the time that they choose to, for the most part, win elections, not caring that they're devaluing the currency that the people hold, and they're making all these promises, which are just BS promises, because they're saying, I'm going to give from with this hand, I'm going to take from the other, always, right? Necessarily, it's just mathematics. How many are realizing that Zen is taking away that power of some centralized, in the case of crypto, development team? It is say, oh, well, we're going to print this much, and we're going to allocate that much, and we're going to give this much to that one, and this and that, right? And then they're all begging for a burn at some point, hoping that the devs will burn a bunch. But always that centralized force that is determining what's going to happen with their currency. They're always hoping for the best, but in the end, the centralized force, whatever it is, always kind of doing, or I won't say always, but for the most of the time, doing what's in their best interest. How many are realizing that Zen is giving putting the printing in their hands? Now they're the one who prints their own money, like at the amount that they want, however many wallets that they choose, at whatever time, in whatever way, they can choose the term they want to go, short term, long term. How many people are understanding that basically revolution in terms of how money has been for the last at least century, a little over a century, right? I mean, and
Been
many
like
times.
this forever, brother.
What's
Money
that?
deal. It's been like that forever. The few get to print and decide how
it's been
much
like that
the majority of the people have, right?
It is.
The
But there was a
population
time,
gets
yeah,
a small percent, and the rest goes back into their pocket.
yeah. But I said a century. I mean, for centuries and centuries. But in America, there was a time actually that it wasn't like that, and the United States presidents would swear. I forget who it was. It was Abraham Lincoln. There was a couple that swore that they would never ever allow, they like to the death, they would not allow central banks to come in the Republic of America, because they knew what central banks were about. And in America, it was written into the Constitution that the only legal tender was gold and silver and no other. But that was broken 100 and some years ago with the Federal Reserve. That's why I said 1 century. There was a time where there was sound money, right? And that brought about a lot of prosperity for America, and it's why people around the world chose to adopt the American dollar, because it was redeemable for gold. But those are just instances in history. Yeah.
Yeah, and you hit the nail on the head. We are the Federal Reserve now. We're gonna mint our own money, and we are gonna decide how we're gonna spend it or reinvest it.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking, Ray. Like with the people that's selling their Zen right now, I was like, man, they don't realize what they have. You getting pennies, in your profit right now, and you don't realize how valuable, of an asset you have. Like I would at least just give it a chance and let it mature and see what happens a little, later down the line. But again, there are different people with different purposes and different values. But it's like, man, I didn't trust myself, so I put all of mine out like from day one. Like
I pushed the ball away out, man, all of my Mets. And so I was like, man, I don't know. I don't trust myself right now, so let me just kick mine down the road, we'll see what happens.
I think one of the best things we could do as a community is actually because we're getting all of this essentially free or close to free, we could actually just give out Zen and expect some people to come back and some people to lose their wallets and stuff. But the more we teach people and the more we just give out crypto for free, but with a bit of education, they might be more interested. Like, how is this guy giving it to me for free? Then you show them and you teach them, and that's it. And all you need is a phone.
I'd say to that, I agree with that, but I would add to it, if you want to give Zen, okay, give it in the sense of, I was talking earlier about the use cases and what it represented, how key it was. So give your Zen to the good use cases. Invest it in the good use cases, in the Zen use cases, the Zen community. There'll be projects. Devs are going to come. They're going to start their own dApps beyond what Jack does, right? And hopefully, like you actually, Ray, were interested in doing something like that, right? The whole surrogate thing of
Yep.
helping people, right, abroad on board into the DeFi space where they're getting away from their banks and their governments, right? So yeah, give your Zen there, in the use cases, and start building the infrastructure of the Zen ecosystem. I would just add, not just, willy-nilly to try to attract or entice, but directed in the way that would be the most beneficial for the whole ecosystem.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, but
I was thinking like, I don't know if Ray was thinking this, but yeah, when you give it, it's kind of like you give it holding their hand, like whoever you give it to. So like you don't just give it to a random person, or if you chose a random person, at least walk them through the first principles of crypto when you give it. And then I think there would be a little loyalty there, with the whole ecosystem of Zen, maybe at that point, and they'll have some loyalty to Zen because Zen would have been a part of them learning the first principles of crypto.
exactly what I was thinking, Larry. I mean, you can also give it to a project that is actually helping people. NHT, can you please mute? Thanks. NHX, please mute. Okay, so yeah, I was thinking more like I've been onboarding people as well, and people who are not in crypto, and I go, hey brother, come, let me give you something, and maybe spend half an hour teaching them just the really simple stuff, and let them do it. Help them to install a wallet, basic security, not too much of a lecture, more a really practical session, and then just give it to them for free, and they can teach others how to create a wallet. And it doesn't have to be all in one session. You don't want a long lecture, like 5-hour lecture on crypto. And first principles will come, and some people will lose their wallets, accidentally delete their app, forget to record their 12 words, 24 words seed phrase in a correct way, and then lose that piece of paper they wrote it on and stuff like that. It has happened many, many times. But let them play with it and give them a very small amount so they can play with it, send it from one wallet to another. They can send it from one wallet to another on the same phone or different phones, and send it to their friends and so on. And that's how people learn, right? I like a very practical approach, not a university kind of sit down lecture for a couple of hours. And there's something for you to give them. And it's not test crypto, it's actual real crypto. So that's the way I see us onboarding the no coiners, the people who are not already in crypto. So we get them half an hour, we should be able to do all of this, right? And they get something for free.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. In that case, you're not just, you're actually giving your money to use case, and the use case in this case is the education aspect of it. So that's awesome. Yeah.
If they're more curious, they're going to ask you more questions, and that's fine. They don't feel that you are pushing them. You don't push them to buy anything. They're not investing anything. We know the value of Zen long term might be going up, but the one way we are actually increasing rather than waiting for the price to go up, the greater the adoption, we can be assured that the growth is going to be there, and we are part of the growth. So if they should come back, and then we teach them, yeah, if you're interested, we'll have another session later on. Let's do it over coffee. Yeah, bring your phone and let me show you how to mint Zen by yourself. That's another half an hour. There's going to be questions and explanations and so on. And you can have a third session, fourth session, and so on, right? And you can go into staking, you can go into batch minting and stuff like that, more and more. So you always have that. Zen already has all the basic tools you need to do that, right? And you don't have to play with test crypto. You are getting people to learn the first principles without, in a very practical manner, without rattling off some theoretical principles sounding very philosophical, but of no practical skills, of no practical importance. We want to get them to have the skills and practice first principles without even knowing that they are practicing first principles. So teach them the skills and make it easy, make it light. Don't lecture. That's what I think.
Yeah, and if you can, in the process, just get in the fact that Zen is like no other crypto, that it solved the problems that no other crypto ever has. What a few, and maybe more, but one of them, namely, being that it's the only crypto that doesn't charge you any extra fee, nor to take any extra amount of risk than to simply pay the gas fees to use the actual technology and infrastructure, which is blockchain, that no other crypto offers you that. That Zen is very unique, and also that you get to print your own money and those kind of things, and hopefully they can teach that, because one of the most important things about I think for the long-term view and vision of it and the success is truly the core community, the Zenducation. I mean, that is so on point. And that feeling that people have towards Zen, particularly, compared to other cryptos, that they see that. And that is it's so powerful. Like, projects that have a community, projects that have a truly strong community, yeah, they can get, hurt. Okay. They can, depreciate, they can go into bear market and all that. But it's incredible if you have that core, what's possible and how much you can surpass your previous all-time highs and do it many times over. If you don't have the community, that core, that intelligent, resilient, resolved core, I mean, you're in big trouble. You need that. And at the beginning now, it's small. But if we can educate to build that core up, that's where basically something can become just about like indestructible. You can crush it, you can hurt it, you can push it back down, but it's going to bounce back up again and again and again. You cannot kill it. And I know that might seem like just words, but it's really the case. The core, the heart of something, it's like a seed. It's very small. but it can last and just go through incredible odds, slowly but surely. So in that education, when you give away the crypto and you're trying to relate to them how special Zen is, how unique it is, so that they can be part of that core community.
Exactly. I think we can all help in this respect. So, by the way, I've already started spending Zen. So, one of my people that I've helped to onboard is making kefir. I don't know if you know what's kefir. It's similar to kombucha. It's a drink. I find it helps me with digestion and stuff like that. And she makes it home. She's a home. She makes it at home and she sells it to the neighborhood. So I spoke to her about Zen, and I buy it from her weekly, and I pay in Zen. So I'm making
Nice.
this. People are
It's
talking about it. While people are talking about it, I'm trying to build the use cases, right, and building my own little community here. And then she was more and more interested in it, and she started minting, and now she has something like, I don't know, 20 wallets or something like that. And she's minted. She started off on Polygon, right? And now she's on Ethereum. She's minting it on Ethereum. She's learning more about crypto. She's onboarding her friends, and yeah, so that's a chain reaction there. And I'm actually using it in actual transactions. And I don't need any centralized exchange. I don't need to change this back to dollars.
That's what I'm talking about. Like, that is powerful stuff, right? Like, you get people like that, right, that are selling their kefir, and those who are buying it. I mean, how much of a, look at coins, right? That have maybe pumped or whatever, but go see the community and look at what is there. Is there a community? Is there a core? Is there an actual core to the community? Is the core just the developers? Is it just the whales? What is the core of the community? Is there one? And so many of them don't actually have any. And those projects are destined to disappear. In my opinion, if you don't have that, like, you're going to be overtaken. It's just, you're going to be overtaken. You're going to be overtaken by a project like Zen.
Yeah, what I'm saying is we don't need everything to come from Jack, right? We can just use it because it's there. The tools are already there, and it's up to us to expand the network, right? It's up to us. If we believe in the project and we believe in the community and the first principles as well as the long-term vision, we are part of the long-term vision. It's not just from Jack.
Jack is like, I see Jack as the creator, and he like the the host and the cheerleader. He's there, like, he's he created, and he's just bidding us good luck and wishing us well and doing everything that could be helpful that he can do. There's nothing in the code or in the way the Zen is built that says Jack needs to be there. If Jack isn't there, it's not going to work anymore. He didn't build anything like that. He's put
I'm going to be laughing. I'm going to be laughing if Zen goes up like 100 or 1,000 times, right? I'll be that Bitcoin pizza guy, right? But I would say I'd contributed to the growth of Zen. I'd laugh if it went up that high.
No, Ray.
Flex, flex, Ray.
You're going to be the forever the Zen kefir guy.
Nah, he gonna be one of the original, the OGs. They're gonna refer to him as OG Ray.
The guy who blew $1 million on kefir or something like that.
Exactly.
I just wanted to say that's awesome news, Ray. That's like really great to hear. And I think you were the first person to report doing something like this, like a peer-to-peer transaction for Zen for product or service.
She charged only about $5 per bottle, and so I do it like weekly.
I think when you do this kind of thing, you just have to, like, in your mind, separate the whatever happens with the price of Zen, and just you have other Zen that is like an investment, and this then is part of building the growth of the network.
Well, he really is kind of extending Jack intended purpose, right? Jack intended purpose was to give, and then the adoption will come, right? So just extending that, right? Not giving, you're paying, but still you giving in the sense of she didn't know about Zen, and you just created that use case, right there, because you just took the initiative to do so. You could have not even told her about it, but now look what it has done. She's now minting herself. That
Not only
initial
that, she's
seed.
onboarding people, right? She's onboarding people.
That's that seed effect, man. When you plant one seed, you don't get one tree. I mean, one another seed, you get a tree that produces. You can't even count the amount of seeds come from it. I gotta go, guys. Nice talking to you all.
Hey, you too, Larry. Good luck.
Thanks for the talk, Larry. Take care. Have a good night. And here's a little food for thought, something to consider. If we continue printing Zen and we keep holding Zen and we keep, you know, creating more and holding it and waiting, okay, and choosing those long terms and eventually those long stakes, you know, there's developers that right now are trying to do things for Zen. Jack is doing the, you know, the very fast-paced initial things, uh, creating a lot of buzz. But there's other developers that are going to start, and they're already starting to want to do things, and those things take time. And if we wait for them, and we're holding, and we keep minting, and we keep putting the capital, because all the capital you put in Zen, all the gas you spend in Zen is gas is money that you didn't spend, you know, trading other coins. So you are putting the money there. These developments are going to come to fruition because development takes time, and they're wanting to build stuff for Zen. And not only that, like there's that, but and it's happening, but also there's developers that have already started developing projects, great ideas and projects before even Zen came out. And now if there's enough Zen activity going on and people holding it, they're going to launch those projects that have been working on for maybe, you know, a year's time. They're going to launch them and they're going to use Zen. You know, they'll duplicate, or maybe that'll be the original one that they choose. So a lot of use cases and developments going to happen just because we're minting it, holding it, and are bullish on it. And I'm talking about new use cases. I'm talking about innovative use cases, like things we've never seen before. And by the time they're ready, by the time that, you know, maybe in a year from now, there's, you know, it takes time to develop such kind of sophisticated new ways of doing things, smart contracts. By the time they're ready, if we're there and we're one of the most, you know, used, printed, in adopted coins, they're going to be implemented with Zen, those innovative things. So this is going to be like just an always, once you get that ball rolling, it's an amplifying, you know, self-perpetuating feeding effect.
Good evening, sir. How you doing, honey?
Hey, who is this? I
This is Rome.
recognize
It's
Rome.
Rome.
Hey, Rome.
Peace be with you, brother. Just stoked about this. The minting, man. This batch minting is gonna keep things organized a little bit better. a lot more flow efficient. Are you minting now, Mr. Deal?
Ah, Uh, no, I minted a little bit. I started
Right,
not so long ago. I did a few mints, but
right,
when I was planning, like I should be minting now, and I would be like just doing it very regularly, consistently. But when
right.
I heard about the batch minting,
Forget
that
about it.
really
That
was a
set it off. Same with me. Same with me.
yeah,
So I'm definitely it's always it's gonna be Ethereum and Polygon, right?
right.
Right,
I'm probably
right.
going to do Doge as well. Doge. Um, I don't know if I'll do BSC. I mean, I don't know, but yeah, definitely Polygon and Doge, and who knows? Yeah, I'll see. But yeah, it's awesome because that's the thing that I didn't. That was the only thing. If there was one caveat that I had was I wasn't wanting to spend so much time, and I really did want to do like a good amount, and it
Right.
was just not really possible. So this is
What
really great.
this is, yeah, well, I think a lot of us dedicated a lot of time and we did it. And then when they came out with this extravagant news, this is like the best of all worlds, right? You get to mint,
Absolutely.
you get and choose how many your batch, and I mean, a lot of us did 100 wallets, right? Some guys did. I remember they were doing hundreds of wallets in Ethereum. You can still do it. You're gonna pay a lot of gas fees, but it's gonna be well worth it.
It was doable. My strategy was, okay, I'm gonna do like I'll see, maybe I'll do 20 or 50 at a time, and I'll do them every weekend. And if I do that for a year's time, it'll add up. And but now it's like it changes everything. Now I can go on other chains. I can just do so much more. And I can all hold it in one wallet. And the other thing is I don't have to claim it because the whole management of that of those hundreds of upon hundreds of wallets is just
Right.
crazy.
It's crazy. It's the truth. It's the truth. So now the NFT Zen NFTs are gonna be coming out next week, right? We're gonna be able to launch it, and they're gonna be on only two chains, or it's gonna be on all chains
I think they're kind of going to be on all chains, but nothing is
eventually. But they're gonna
right.
kick off on Ethereum and Polygon, if I'm not mistaken. Whatever. But I believe Ethereum. I
Yeah, I
believe
think it's
Ethereum.
Ethereum. Last I heard, it was Ethereum first, and then soon after Binance and Polygon. I think
Okay.
that's what Jack said. Like maybe quite similar to as how the first launch went, like on the second day or something,
Right, right. So
very
then you
quickly.
get the NFT, you get a batch NFT, you get an NFT with the batch, whether it be a batch of mint, stake, or what is it, burn, right? And all those facets, right? Is that correct?
Rome, you're coming through very, very soft. I don't know if it's your mic, but your volume's really low.
Yeah, sorry, I was yeah, Rome, your mic is low, but I could hear you, but it is low.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, I was actually responding to you, and I realized when Ray spoke, my mic was closed. So yeah, I don't know if they're going to come out all on the same day or maybe a few days in between. I don't know that, but it's just kind of crazy. Like it's like you add three things. It's not just three times more. It's now you have all the cross product, and I mean, three variables is not just three more possibilities. It starts creating a whole bunch of possibilities, which I don't think we've actually had time to think through of all the possibilities. But to me, it doesn't even matter. It's just all about the way I'm looking at it. Is all these things are derivatives of Zen and added value to Zen. And this what it's doing, it's starting to turn Zen into the assets. That's what I want. The real estate. It's turning Zen into real estate more and more every time there's these new things. And I just hope that people, as I, view it, put the value on the Zen itself, not on these, speculations, if there's any part, and they continue to just want to accumulate that Zen. And for the long term, like the stake NFTs, for example, I think it was Jack of Hearts was mentioning yesterday, that was quite interesting. The stakes, now you're incentivized to stake long term automatically, right? Because you can't really lose so much, because now you can sell that NFT, even though it's not come to, right? Whereas before you would lose all your yield, you couldn't capture the yield value if you want staked it before the end of the term. But if you do a 3-year, for example, stake NFT, I mean, the yield is guaranteed. So when you resell it or you sell it, you're kind of selling that as well. And there's a price attached to it, So you could get your money 2 years in, decide to sell it, and you're selling the capital, and you're also saying, hey, well, there's all the yield too, and so it's very cool. So it incentivizes people to say, well, what the heck? I don't have so much to lose here. I can make a big NFT, fat, juicy one. I'm going to pick the 1,000 days. So that is incentivizing people to stake longer terms than they maybe would have. Maybe people that have chosen 1 year. Oh, I'm just going to stake 1 year. I'm going to take my yield, right? Because if you just do 1 year, you lock in the yield for 1 year, but you don't lock in the yield for the second year. By the time you get to the second year, the yield went down. But if you stake it for 3 years, you lock in the yield for the 3 years, right? So like you lock in, let's say it's at 15% yield, and you do a 3-year, you're going to get 15% for 3 years. Whereas if you do 1 year, you're going to get it only on the 1 year, and then maybe on the second year, it'll be down at, 12% or whatever. So it incentivizes long-term staking, accumulating. I mean, it's incredible. I mean, talk about everything that's opposite to a pump and dump, people dumping coins, right? And it's all in the same line as kind of Bitcoin and Hex. But yeah, for me, it's all about the Zen, getting that Zen, because my timeline is not like 1 year. So I'm not too worried about that. I don't want to speculate too much unless there's some kind of opportunity. I don't mind that. I've done it plenty. But for me personally, it's not my thing, because I don't care for the aggravation for myself, because I've done it, and I just, it's a lot of, you have to be on top of it, and you're, you have to kind of be glued to it when you're speculating more. But I just love the real estate aspect of it, and just a long-term game, and being able to package those things up and let them gain value and concentrate value, all the economic energy of the whole project.
Can you hear me, honey? Can you hear me better?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Is that better?
It's still quite muted, okay, but I can hear you.
Oh, it's my headset, man. No, but that is powerful, bro. That is powerful, and that's where we're going, and it's amazing.
Yeah, man. I'm
with all these creative ideas that are coming afloat daily. I mean, Zen it's dope. it's dope. It's dope. It's amazing. It's amazing, and that value is being put in different facets, right? And it's interesting how it's all come into play, man. I'm definitely excited. So I'm trying to get some,
So, so
batches.
you've been in crypto. You said to me, you've been in crypto. I don't think so long. Am I mistaken? Like you're
No, about
somewhat
2
new
years
to
now.
crypto.
Yeah.
Two
Oh
years?
yeah. Without a
Okay.
doubt. Yeah. 2 years. I'm a novice, bro. I stay humble to it too, bro. Because I learn fast. That's for sure. I know I'm
And
in the right place now.
how's been your experience overall? Like, did you, was it rough, or did you kind of get through it on ski to, like,
Yeah.
how was your experience?
Well, it's funny because when you don't know what a bull run is or a bear market, and a lot of us got in a bull run. You know what I mean? And then a lot of things happened after the bull run, with depending on when you got in a year and a half ago, and then the war. You know what I'm saying? And then a lot of stuff happened, and then so you're in projects, right? You probably got in bull run and at the very end, and you only so you're seeing these numbers go up, and you thinking it's infinite, and you don't know, and right. So it's funny, but no, you start educating yourself, and you realize you said a big point, man. This is a complete opposite of what a lot of the devs are doing, right? What we're in this energy that we're putting in with and minting and bringing it to fruition. This project is totally different, man. It's not the first one who gets in, right?
So were you, I mean, I'm asking questions here. By no means you have to answer. So were you more kind that you would speculate on coins, or were you more kind that you would put your money into contracts, or were you more like buying Bitcoin and keeping to Bitcoin and Ethereum, or you were playing like drips and stuff like, were you in DeFi
No,
a lot, or you were
no,
more like,
definitely this definitely DeFi, and no, I mean I learned, you learn, I wasn't on, I was on centralized exchanges as well, um, but you learn by mistake, man. You learn by failure, bro, and it's just opportunities that you get, and when you're in the right area too, dude. You know when you hit a nice project, and this is something different, dude. This is different. This is opportunity. This is bringing things to life, you know, um, like no other. You don't have to be first here. You don't have to be the last one. You know what I mean? Just get in. And,
oh, did you have the experience, for example, of investing money in things that promised yield, and then you kind of got your yield, but you saw the underlying asset kind of dwindle away before, sometimes just as much and even more so than what you're getting in return?
without a doubt, I think we all have in a lot of our experiences, right? Where your expectation is, but it's all about when you're getting into these projects, right? It's all about the market cap and but I didn't know that at the beginning, right? You get in, I can't tell you I did, because you're a novice to it. But as you go in and you realize, okay, so if I get in at a lower market cap, then I'm able to, right, make some money or whatever the case may be. Then I can stake and do whatever I can. But no, man, this is I've learned a lot, man, and I know that this is hodling, dude. I gotta mint this long term, right? And accumulate as much Zen as I can, because boy, this is like the next Bitcoin, right? Would you say, honey? I'm holding it like it.
I mean, I think it's beyond Bitcoin in many ways. It's next level to Bitcoin. It's that point in time where Bitcoin already, laid the foundation, allowed it to happen. but which Bitcoin couldn't reach to, and Bitcoin was just so different because it was so difficult to mine Bitcoin in the beginning. You know, you had to have knowledge and buy equipment and run this stuff. And now it's put in the hands of so many more, so more people, and so more easily. They're still spending money, right? Same as the guy was buying the rigs and spending the electricity. Now we're just spending gas, click of a button. And so the potential of amount of people that can come in into that, you know, industry, so to speak, of DeFi and create things. And I mean, ultimately, I mean, obviously, this whole technology of blockchain, smart contracts, was supposed to do things. This is supposed to replace, you know, a notary, the need for lawyers, a huge amount of money, accounting, like so many things, right? Whole industry, like what's the industry? Just lawyers, right? Like how much money is spent in that every year? And DeFi and smart contracts are supposed to solve so many and facilitate so many of the things that those people are charging for, you know, and just improve, make it so that if you need an notary or you need to have accounting done, you can have the tools and the blockchain and all that. So it is an industry, and it is it's a technology and an industry. It's something to invest in, and that will make accessible to much more people, services that were only really available to those who were wealthy. Yeah, so it's beyond Bitcoin in that sense. And yeah, we were talking the other day, I don't know if you were there, like how, you know, you know, Bitcoin's failure was, you know, gave rise to a lot of these tokens, the things that Bitcoin were supposed to do, and they were able to make promises, you know, and attract you and them and me and promise yield, but what yield? Where's the yield coming from? What is the yield coming from? Is there really a yield? Are we developing something here? Is there an industry, or is there really an economy going on? Or is these like just promises and in the end just shuffling the same money around? And it's more like a casino, right? Like a casino, you know, they promise you yield, but is that really what they're giving you? It's not yield. So it's just gambling. So, but here's really the potential for building something that actually generates wealth, because wealth is, for example, having use cases. Like, what is wealth, right? Wealth is having roads to drive on, for example, right? Compared to those who don't have roads to drive on, you know, that's wealth. You know, so yeah, this step in the blockchain, if it can reach to the really use cases of the smart contracts and the very technology that Bitcoin failed, then Ethereum kind of, you know, moved into the next dimension of smart contracts, really resolving the limitations of Bitcoin, but which has its own limitations and is quite expensive and is not allowing, you know, it's been captured as well, right? Bitcoin has been captured, Ethereum has been captured. And now, so what do the people have?
Well,
How
I see where you're going. I see where you're going. I see where you're going. The opportunities, in other words, with the, and I'm learning about all of this protocol and all of that and what it's supposed to stand for. And that's why what our leader, which is Jack Levin, right? Would you say he's probably the founder of it? Yeah, like you said, he's not holding our hands. He's letting creative, and that's what it is, letting this take nurture and do what the energy it's supposed to do to who, right? As long as they're doing it the right way and they're not scheming and scamming and cheating and things of that nature, and that will bring benefit of a lot of. Yeah, that's powerful, bro. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
like
Yeah, and he
Jack was
continues.
basically. Yeah,
Continue to
go ahead.
do it with every chain, and then the exposure of in different and in different sectors too, if I'm not mistaken, because with the NFT uh, facet, they're trying to accomplish a different community, which can do whatever they need to do with that protocol. Is that what I'm understanding?
What you mean that?
As far as the NFT, you know how he's coming with it. Now we have uh, Zen NFT, right? And we have these three NFTs that you can acquire. One is going to be for staking. One is going to be for burning. The other one's going to be for holding your batch. Correct?
Right.
Then so
Holding
now
space. Yeah. Yeah.
holding space. Holding now, if I don't want to, I'm going to be able to determine how much of my minted Zen I want to put in the NFT. Correct? I would assume. I don't want to put all.
You're talking about the stake NFT. There's the mint NFT, the stake NFT, and the burn NFT.
Yeah,
Basically,
it would be the stake and the burn that I would decide, right? How many I want to put, how many millions of
right.
my Zen. Right.
The burn one, it's quite interesting. Okay, it's
Yeah, let's talk
kind
about
of
that one.
like what the burn.
Yeah, let's talk about the burn one.
Yeah. So it's kind of crazy. I mean, okay, so I'm not a big NFT guy. Okay, that's not my thing. I have not been in that, so I'm not going to say that I've speculated on NFTs at all. Okay, I played with them for the utility and understand them and all their possibilities, but not speculate on them. Okay, because I didn't really understand that thing, right? Not that I don't understand any speculation part, but just not to that extent. And I couldn't understand the fact that there was no liquidity for them, which to me was kind of weird. And I wanted to observe it before diving into it. And the burn NFT is it's like next level in the sense that you're burning your Zen to get an NFT, okay, that may be usable in the future in another application, right? And it might be an application that requires the NFT, or at least will cost a lot for you to get that NFT, maybe in the future more so, because then it'll have appreciated. But let's say, it's a 50 million Zen, whatever. And like 50 million Zen is just one mint, but like a year or plus mint. But yeah, whatever. And then you're holding that, and if it requires NFT, you're going to be able to use it as is. You already bought it. If you have to get a 50 million Zen in a year from now, you'd have to wait another year, or else have it liquid or buy it on the market. It might cost more. But basically, that's it. You're holding an NFT. There's no like redeemability for it per se. Like you can't go in a liquidity pool like with Zen and sell it in the market. But there might be a market and a use case in the future. That's kind of like the idea of it. You're getting it.
Right.
You're holding it.
Okay.
Yeah.
But then you can buy. I understand that you're able to go to OpenSea and place it there for. I guess there they bid on NFTs, right? They bid on NFTs. I haven't been on there.
Right.
Right.
Right. And then it's quite, I mean, they're different than, I feel they're different than the board apes because of the whole size of Zen and everything. The board apes, that's the one that I didn't get like so much because, and I asked this question yesterday, I said, do we have an example of an NFT that shot up, it got very speculative, it went into a bubble, right? And now people are spending whatever amount. I mean, 10 ETH, 100 ETH. I mean, it was crazy, right?
Right. I think right now everything is like obviously, you know, at a low price. So NFTs don't have that value. But yeah.
But what I was asking is, did we see one go up? Because it's speculative asset, right? The NFT was like an exclusive club. You buy it, you pay the big price. It's pumping, and people buying it. Have we seen it come down? Because obviously, I mean, it's kind of obvious it'll come down at some point, right? The spikes don't go up forever. So have we seen it come down, bottom, and then go back up? And, have we seen that? And I have not seen that with the speculative NFTs, the kinds that really don't have any kind of ecosystem around them with specific use cases attached with fungible tokens, not NFTs, but actual fungible tokens that have liquidity. I've not seen that, and that they went up and beat their all-time high, but we're still early in the market. But it still felt to me like art, where people bid up a piece of art, and then it's like worth millions of dollars, right? It need not be so beautiful. It's not about how beautiful it is. It's just because that's a Picasso, right? So it's all about the exclusivity of it. And it works with paintings. We know that much. But I was like, did we see that with NFTs? Because that was my impression. I was like, yeah, I get it with Picasso, and I get it with many things, a
So
Rolex.
the benefit of a burn of me burning when I mint my Zen. What would be my benefit?
You're speculating that in the future there'll be a use case for that NFT. Okay.
Okay.
And if there is, and people want
I
to,
have that NFT. I have it.
you
And
already
I
have
have
it. It's already paid for. Yeah.
got you. And you best believe with these guys, we're gonna have a lot of shit. A lot of stuff. I could imagine. If they mentioned it now, forget about it. Just okay, I get it.
Right.
I
There
get it.
could very well be. I mean,
Oh
I
yeah.
didn't hear anyone give guarantees per se.
No, but it's
Okay.
fun. It's fun. I get it.
Right.
Yeah. It's
So
not in the
yeah,
white
to
paper.
some
It's not in the
extent,
white paper, but it's not in the white paper. But we can write it. How about right?
yeah, we can read through the lines, right?
It's cool.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
just always hope that these kinds of things are, that's what I was all my concern yesterday, is that all
Right.
things be in good measure, right?
Right.
Because when they get out of good measure, it's kind of sucks for not only the people that lose, but the project in itself. It's just not very useful, right? It's not
Right.
right. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
When things are not in good measure, they're not more so generating any kind of economic activity, development, yield. They're
Mm,
just not in good measure, right? And so hopefully it'll be in good measure, and maybe people will be able to acquire them and have fun with them, and have some use cases, and that would be awesome. And I'm guessing that it will be the case. I'm
right.
very
Right.
much. It would be very unlikely that it not be from coming from Jack anyway.
Exactly. Exactly. I don't know him much, but I've learned a lot in the last couple months, bro. I think the last month. It hasn't even been a month yet. In November the 8th, we be it's a month. That's pretty dope. That's pretty dope. I haven't slept yet. I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
I'm kidding.
I think a lot of people are learning about new possibilities, that things need not necessarily be as they were. Who said that? Like, that's bias. That's just bias. And until you change course, I mean, it can seem like that's the only way, but it's not. And this is definitely a change in course.
I
And I
like
think
that
a
Zen.
lot of people.
Yeah, Zen Fu couldn't have said it any better. He said it. He laughed and he chuckled when he said it. He says, wait till the communities that they're that we're touching, an open sea and all of them, and then Dodge Chain and a lot of these communities that have thousands of people. Wait till they see what we're bringing, because we're bringing, you know, we're bringing the pain. You know, we're bringing
Oh man,
we're bringing the
I mean,
sauce. We're bringing the meat.
I've been seeing this from the first week, basically. Like
That's
as
powerful.
soon as it started going up,
This is done.
um,
Yeah, yeah.
you know, Zen is gonna. I mean, I don't want to seem like this is not uh, with any spite at all. I just find it funny how because we're talking about so many things and we can go in circles because Zen is a true thing. You see, and it's the real deal. And when you're dealing with the real deal, like you know, there's so many aspects to it, and everything feeds into itself, and it's a you know integral, right? Uh, and it has a lot of complexity, but yet it's all coherent. It's cohesive and coherent, right? And it's so interesting with Zen, um, because it solves the whole blockchain infrastructure question of saying to you, well, you get to use the infrastructure basically for free because you just pay the gas and then I give you coins and I'm basically reimbursing you your gas. Like maybe not today, because today I have to pay the validators. I have to pay the validators like right now, right? Like pay the gas right now because the validators need to get paid. That's how the infrastructure works. But I'm giving you these coins and you'll get your money back. Don't worry about it, you know? So Zen is doing something that no other coin does. All the other coins, you have to pay a premium. You have to take in a certain amount of risk, right? And then you have to pay the gas on top of it. So it's like you're taking your added cost, added risk to be able to use the blockchain and everything that the blockchain has to offer. And the real value, I'm sure you've heard this from very smart people, you know, who talk about crypto instead and say, well, I don't know about crypto, but I'm sure that the blockchain is going to persist, right? Have you heard that? Have you ever heard that argument that the real asset, the real value is the blockchain? Like sometimes there will come people talking about Bitcoin or whatever. They'll say, I don't know about Bitcoin, but blockchain, yeah, that's not going anywhere. So the real thing is blockchain. Now Zen is saying, well, you get to use the blockchain and you don't have to take that added amount of risk and premium. So because it does that, okay, it's basically an assault of sorts. There's nothing of assault, but I'm just saying it is a problem for any coin that, you know, is charging a premium and risk and imposing risk on the user just to use the blockchain. Because every single new user that's been coming in the last years, they come in, they install their MetaMask. Now they're like, okay, they ask, like they've never done crypto, right? Like, what coin should I buy? They want to do crypto. They want to try the blockchain. They want the security. They want the anonymity or whatever. Like, which coin should I buy? Oh, you should buy this coin or that coin. But every single coin that you name them has an added price and has an amount of risk. And with Zen, there's not that. You just pay the gas. The other ones, you have to pay the gas as well. So it's just, right? So this is like super strong competition for all of the coins. So it's like, it's easy to see all the backlash that there was in the beginning, or there still will be, and the FUD and the, oh no, this is, you know, and all these arguments coming out. Because Zen is actually concerned about people using the infrastructure, and it basically is the same as getting roads and networks so that people can actually, you know, drive their car on, use it, and not have to make it into something where only an exclusive club gets to use the roads. There'll always be the crypto, the speculative side of it that people enjoy, and that's fine. But it not need be the whole thing, that, you know, everything about it could just be a slice of it. There's many ways to speculate. It's better to do development. So to develop and grow and create something out of nothing, like truly create something, than to just gamble. So that part of it is just it's next level. That's the part that Bitcoin, you know, the where we're going after where Ethereum is, and we're not fighting against it. We're not trying to replace Ethereum, compete it, say no, Ethereum's no good, I'm going to be the good one, and all that stuff. We're just moving to the next level of where crypto should go in terms of actually being useful infrastructure for the greatest amount of people. Morning, we were working on translating the white paper to Portuguese. Yeah, in trying to advance in more languages, and today it was Portuguese. And I was just hearing earlier about what's happening in Brazil. And Brazil, it was one of the countries that I thought it would be cool to reach to. It's a big economy. Have you guys, anyone heard what's going on?
There is someone in the chat looking for a Brazilian chat.
Is there?
There was earlier today.
Wow, cool. Yeah, I'm really feeling it. Like, it just seems to me like, those people could really use that. Like, it would be an awesome asset for them. Did you hear anything in the news about Brazil?
No.
Like, they're basically on the cusp of like a revolution. It's really not.
Oh, no way. Far out.
Yeah. And it's a big country for that kind of commotion that's going on there. Like the old president, I'm
any
not.
suggestions on any suggestions where have you been getting your info?
Well, I got it's a friend. He's from Latin America, and I just saw him earlier. Had a beer with him, and yeah, I was just saying, man, because he listens to the news, right? He's always on top of he listens to radio and stuff, the political stuff. Yeah, so he was telling me, did you see what's going on in Brazil? And gave me a little bit of, the situation. It's political, obviously financial. Okay. But yeah, like there was
Stuff.
an election.
It's all baked into one big cookie when it happens.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, and they're not. I mean, there's a lot of inequality over there, rich people, a lot of poor people. But it's a big economy.
Now, is there a chat being established for? Yeah, because you're talking about Portuguese and stuff, and you're talking about
Yeah,
how's
exactly.
it doing? Is
What's that?
there legitimate chat for that yet, or what?
I believe there's a chat, not legitimate. Like, I don't think there's one that we're in and that has been vetted with admins inside yet. However, I do believe there's one potentially. I'm not sure though. But yeah, I mean, the white paper is a beginning, but I just found it cool because when you do Portuguese, yeah, Portugal, but you get to reach to Brazil, which is a huge economy in Latin America, which Spanish does not reach to.
Yeah,
Hi guys.
massive. Go ahead.
Yes, I was doing the French. I almost finished the French translation, and
No, he's doing the Portuguese. Yep.
Yeah, because I'm half French and half Brazilian.
Oh, awesome. So
yeah.
Have you gotten? I don't know. Did you just come in? I was asking about what's going on in Brazil. Do you have any news?
From the presidential election?
Yeah, and just basically.
Lula won the election.
Right, and now I'm understanding that he's starting to the previous is starting to concede.
To what? Sorry.
The previous administration.
Yes.
Is starting to concede that he won.
Yeah, he won. He will concede for sure.
Right. And what do you think about Zen for Brazil? I thought it was a great audience and I don't know, use case for Zen, vice versa.
Well, the new president, Lula, he is calling for the country's central bank to create a framework for digital assets.
Right.
But I think it's not good for crypto. You want the central bank to take care.
So is this CBDC kind of central bank?
Yes, but in Brazil.
Right.
So it's not so good for the crypto, you know. If you want to put the central bank inside.
Yeah.
No, I was just reading an article about CBDCs being launched in Nigeria some time ago, and it was a complete failure.
Exactly.
It
They
didn't catch
seem to be
the people.
failures. Yeah, they're not working out. We've not seen much success with governments implementing CBDCs because they're not crypto as first principles. They're
Yeah,
just
that's why.
fake crypto in that sense. They're just using the technology, but they're still totally in control about the supply and who prints it and who gets to decide and all that stuff. It's just fiat on blockchain basically.
Exactly.
So Gandalf, is the those white paper interpretations complete yet?
Well, I'm doing with Honey Deals the French. We did like 75%. But then
Gandalf is a machine. What we're doing is we set it up so we can both work on the same document, and basically like he's doing a first revision super fast. I did what I could. I'm going back, so we're doing it conjunctly, and basically two heads is better than one kind of thing, and just revising, making little readjustments on certain words because there's words that are very crypto related, so sometimes there's an ambiguity. But yeah, it's
Right.
going very well.
but,
Are you guys using that Google document thing, or is it a
yes.
different route?
Absolutely. No, it worked great, Denison, by the way. I mean, the setup to use the tool that you sent, and just I have to figure out. It took me a bit of while to figure out, like with the Google account, and to be able to share it properly, and that he can edit, and we can both be on the same document. And once that was solved, uh, it works like a charm.
Awesome. Good news. I'm stoked that we can use that you guys can use the same format as the original.
But did you guys know if someone from the Portuguese is starting to translate?
No, that was you. That's you actually, Gandalf.
Okay. 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 So I will start it when I finish the French one.
No, but listen, you can start it. The French one, I just put it there so that, it was there. I wanted to experiment in us being able to share documents, but there's no like super rush. We're doing many things at once. We have to find people for the telegrams. He's working on potentially putting announcement telegrams where we have no admins. But the white paper is still a very you know, core feature, and it's important that it be done properly. So there's not a critical rush here to get the white paper in Portuguese. You can do it
I mean,
in a Zen fashion.
it's no stress upon anyone, but I believe it is very important, especially if it's posted somewhere online. It could be posted on Zenpedia. It could be accessible through Zenpedia. So even if there's not like an official chat group or anything yet, people from other languages could be reading up on it. I mean, they could get involved themselves before an official Telegram chat is going.
Yeah. I mean, it's just not a question of, it's not a matter of days. I mean, to me, the more important thing is that if Gandalf is helping, that he do it in a way that is, that promotes longevity, okay, and just enjoyment overall, and that we continue advancing in different things. This is just one step at a time here.
Yeah, I don't intend it as though to start a fire under anybody's behind. So,
Yeah, no,
but it is
exactly.
important. It is important to get it out there. So,
Yeah, yeah, but it's not like, trust me when I say, like, when we make a channel for another language, I mean, you have to be patient. People start coming in slowly. You get users. If you don't have the white paper and they ask you questions, you can always answer them. But we're on it. You know, the more people want to contribute and do this stuff, the better, obviously. But it's like a ball rolling, right? A snowball effect. You gather, and the more we have, the more we'll get.
right, right. I wonder if there could be some sort of like announcement, like, "Hey, does anybody want to help?" And just kind of make the same announcement in multiple languages,
Well, we
and
have
see if there's bite.
humanity. That's how Gandalf came on board. I threw out an announcement in the French channel, and he was very quick to respond. And it so happened that he spoke not only French but Portuguese, and is able to use the software and translate and all that stuff. So that was quick. It's going very well. And then we have to set up, like, ET's doing a bunch of stuff. He's basically, for the most part, alone in terms of the Telegram, more complicated things. And he has many things at the same time, but he's always doing, better and better. Like, yeah, I've been in several projects. I've been in many groups, crypto projects, and I've never seen such good work done in such a short amount of time.
That's
So,
great.
yeah.
For your help, Gandalf.
Yes.
So yeah, Gandalf, whenever you wish to, you can start the Portuguese. On that one, I can't correct or discuss anything because I don't know, but I trust you. It'll be fine. Anyways, we were doing the French, and look, like that last term there, the inflationary versus, well, in French there's two words, right? In English I don't see another one. Um, so that's already been taken care of. So when you'll do the Portuguese, if the same thing arises, that's already clear, right?
Yeah, sure. But I think the French, I will finish the French today.
But finish the French today.
Yeah, I will finish today and start the Portuguese.
Perfect. If you can do it, listen, we're probably on different schedules. So my today is coming to an end. But yeah, but then in the morning, I can go through it and we can most likely wrap it up. And then it's about, I have to communicate with Zensu or Claire or ET, whoever's best disposed to figure how to put it back into the API if it's possible, the Zenpedia in that
Yeah,
little square there, and see how that works.
perfect.
Yeah. Otherwise, we'll have the document in PDF format one way or another. We can post it differently. Find another solution. I mean, this is just a lot of work. It's just labor, right? And then when you have all the pieces, you can kind of put them together, you know.
I've been thinking recently, I don't have any sort of like connections in the crypto world or a bunch of software experience, all that technical computer knowledge stuff, but I'm, I have no idea like where or how I could help especially like with this chat, because I'm on this chat constantly, you know.
Well, I mean, you already did help, and that gave you some little, you know, insight into what you enjoy, what you know, what you feel to do and what you can do and what you have the tools to do. So I'm sure that's going to bring about other
Oh
possible
yeah, I
contributions.
guess what I'm saying is like, do I need to like ask certain questions? Like, is there other ways I can help in which I would be helpful? You know, like being an admin, like I don't know what's involved with that stuff, or just, you know what I mean? It's like, it's not knowing the right questions to ask, basically.
Well, I mean, I think I would just not worry about it too much. Like, you've been very helpful and you are very helpful. So, and you've done, you know, more than your fair share. You solved this issue quite well, even though it wasn't the first initial pathway. You figured out something, and in the end, it's working perfectly well for us. And you did that in what, 24 hours or so. So yeah. So now we're moving on to the next step, and then maybe there'll be at some point like something specific that falls kind of in line with this kind of thing. I mean, you don't have to do the translate of the Vietnamese or the Indonesian. You solve the whole thing in one swoop, and it's all formatted in the white paper format. So like, that's already a lot. I mean, if there was something you could maybe, I mean, keep an ear to the ground. If there are people, don't do anything risky. Don't respond to DMs that are, you know, unsolicited. But given you keep an eye on the chat, like if there are people that could seem as people, you know, that are asking to contribute with, say, in another language or something, like you can ask them questions, you can try to find out, you know, what they want, because maybe we're not seeing it at that moment, and kind of relate that.
Keep my eye out for all that stuff.
What's that?
I usually just alert admin, you know,
Yeah,
exclamation point admin, maybe ask them a couple questions. But
exactly.
you know, I guess what I'm more asking more so is you know, there's obviously stuff going on in the background that I'm not aware of, and I don't know if I could be of help with any of it because I don't know what's going on in the background. So basically, it would be me needing to ask questions, or somebody in the background asking if I would be of any help, if I'd be willing to contribute my time to help, you know, if possible, if I'm capable of doing it, right?
Right. Yeah, I mean, I kind of think that's kind of what happened there. I mean, yeah, it's kind of what happened, right? So there were some things that needed to be done. Zen2 came in here. I had spoken with ET. We had spoken in the group. Then Zen2 actually came. Was it yesterday or day before yesterday? Asking about the languages. Was everything? He asked, is there any blockers? No. Dennison and I are already on it. And now we have Gandalf added to that. It's impeccable. It's fine. We'll see. Like, it could change in a matter of days or a week or whatever. There'll be something other. But you know, Zen2 is doing things specific. You know, it's technical. Claire was doing something. ET is doing things. Like, I could help ET, for example, and if he needs help, obviously I will. But you know, if he's on it and he has experience, right? Why not, you know, put that good experience at use? And you know, Zen2 does something else, but we all have our skills, right?
Anyway, if anybody's listening, I know you are, like, feel free to ask if there's anything I can help with, you know, to my abilities. I'm not gonna agree to try to help with something that I'm clearly not qualified to do. So, you know, just open and honest and go from there.
Awesome. I'll take you up on that. How are you with graphic software? Do you have any experience with that?
Ooh, me? God, no,
Yeah.
no, God, no.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's just like, yeah, like like basically no computer experience. Just like that stuff's just out. You know, that kind of stuff. It's like I've literally been avoiding that at all, like the plague, my entire life. So I'm basically like 10 years behind in all of it.
Okay. Well, you actually, well, you were not bad with the, you know, how did you figure it out? Oh, you went to the Zenpedia and then you figured out
Wasn't that easy because that was the only route of being able to
right,
well, I guess
right.
you could, I guess you could in other ways, but like I said, I'm just like totally illiterate for the most part. You know, I was just trying to figure it out myself. I mean, I
Yeah.
didn't want to start trying to somehow, you know, I really ultimately just wanted it to be all in the same format and look exactly the same. So I just
All
came
right.
across it by chance, I guess.
Have you ever used any kind of graphic software? Like the most
No.
really? Okay. Okay. Because there's some simple stuff. The idea, I mean, you could learn it. It's quite simple if you're not trying to do like complicated things. Because the things that we might be doing that we spoke of require the most simple uh tools in software, meaning the text tool, right? And you just open a new file, a blank image, and you use text and you write the text and then you save it as an image. And then we could use that for the announcement channels in different languages, right? To be able to get triggered when if ET figures out specifically no, you already figured that out, how to trigger images or videos or whatever. But we had talked about making little JPEGs with text that explain, help people with the very nitty-gritty part of it, how to use Zen, how to mint it. So these and also like the disinflationary aspect and stuff like that. So when people have
Yeah.
questions in the end, they could get those little images, right? Like the ones I posted, right? Where there's text.
Right. Is there any possibility you could maybe send me a couple links so I could start looking into that kind of stuff? Maybe on the right track?
Yeah, man. I mean, I've worked with a bunch of softwares. There's always ones that are more suited for others, and it depends what you're working on. So you're on PC or Mac?
Yeah, just on
Yours,
Windows.
it's Windows. Okay. So yeah, on a PC, yeah, definitely there's some stuff. There's one that's particularly good, but unfortunately,
My computer is on its way out, so I might be getting a Mac in the future, but this is what I got right now.
right. Okay. I have one that's particularly, I like it a lot. Just unfortunately, it got bought up uh by, I think, Coral. Coral bought it up and kind of smashed it because they didn't want the competition. Uh so yeah, but anyway, it doesn't matter. a simple one. I mean, you could do that with Paint, MS Paint, basically. Have you? I mean, you've used MS Paint,
Yeah, I've seen it.
right?
Yeah,
So
I
yeah,
can
but
check it out.
yeah, just check that out. I mean, that's the better software to start. I mean, well, not the better, but I mean, it's just very simple. So what happens is you use it, and then you kind of feel a little limited. You'd want to do something else. Just kind of stimulating to get in the better one, you know, one level, and then it stimulates to use a few other functions. But basic good.
How cool does it got to be? We're just talking about text here, right?
Yeah, no, but let's say you wanted to put a little background to your text, like you didn't want plain white, and you don't want to have
Okay.
to paint it, right? And you want a tool that's kind of handy where you can just take an image on the internet and just kind of paste it, and maybe move it a little bit to the left or something, you know? I think MS Paint is actually, it's so rudimentary that even that kind of stuff is reaches its limit, I think, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's fine with that. But yeah, there's a whole bunch. I mean, you could check on PC. I'm just my mind is because I haven't been using the PC so much. I'm more so on the tablet, so I've been using these kind of crappy Androids. But on Android softwares like Play Store software, they're not that great. But on PC, there's a whole bunch of things. I don't want to mention anything that's paid, like that you can get freely, and which is actually quite nice to work with. Has some,
Yeah, yeah.
work, you know.
It's just like this kind of stuff. Like I don't know if stuff is required to be compatible with other programs, and that whole thing. I mean,
No, no, no,
um,
no, no. It's not with image. It's barely an issue. When you get into other things like 3D stuff, it could start becoming an issue. File formats, but in image, it's not an issue. No. Anything and everything that you need. Here, I'll check it out. I'll get you some idea. I'll just shoot you a name if ever you could find this. Okay, I'm not saying that you will, because like I said, it was bought out. It's still supposedly available. Okay, I've seen ads that say that they're selling it for 19.99. Uh, but yeah, it's kind of, I have a copy. Okay, it's an old copy, and I still use it. It's called Photo Impact. Okay. Uh, Photo Impact X3, I believe, but it doesn't really matter. Any version, like there was version 13.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, if ever you found that, just so you know, because there's so many different photoshopping kind of software, and that one it's just so awesome because it does the photoshopping, but it also does vectorial, which means you can make shapes and move things with linear lines. It's a different way of going about imaging, where you can make squares and circles, and you move them around. You can do things. You can create shapes really easily. You don't have to paint them. You can like do so. It's great for diagrams. If you want to make a diagram, uh, you know, for like a project, and really quickly and easily, it's great. But you also can use the photo. It has the enhancement of photos and stuff like that to make like the brightness and the contrast and things nicer. And so you get to have the two tools always simultaneously at your disposal. And unfortunately, Coral decided to kill it. They do this because they want to sell very specialized software. Like they want to give you software that is good at one thing, but you don't get to do the other. So you buy the other one that does the other thing. And they try to make money like that. And when the software comes out that offers everything, they seemingly kill it. So, but that's one. If ever you found it, that's just such a nice tool to have in a toolbox on a PC. Is Photo Impact X3 or Photo Impact 13 or 12 or even 11 before
Yeah,
it's
I already wonder if this is a legit download.
I mean, if you can find it, and it works, like be careful also, like just uh for your computer, make sure it's a legitimate, and if you're not sure, like scan it or something with an antivirus, make sure, but it's not a such a susceptible file for that. But yeah, if you got that working, you'll have everything you ever need probably for a lifetime to do any kind of useful visual thing. I just nothing comes close to it, even to this day for me, for speediness and facility.
Cool, thanks. Thanks for the guidance here. Just wild. These guys are asking admin if the price is going to pump.
Sorry, what's that?
Oh, occasionally you'll see people asking admin if the price is going to pump.
Never. I mean, I understand why that happens. People do that. They're obviously like brand new to crypto and investing and anything. Like to just ask that of a group. Like, why would you ask that? Does it mean that if they say yes, it's going to pump, you're going to buy it?
Yeah, I've seen a couple people in the price chat even like literally asking for financial advice. And I just tell them like, do not accept any advice in this chat. Do your own research and make your own choice. I get it though, being new and just I mean, there's just so much. It can be really overwhelming. But
Yeah.
patience. Zen is time. We got time, everybody. You know, I forgot to ask. What's her name? What's her name?
Where?
Crypto Krill. Crypto Krill was in the chat earlier today, and she asked if she asked about recordings and stuff. She was hoping to get a recording from yesterday. I don't know if those are super easy to get or if it's just kind of a pain in the butt for people to do that or not.
No, I mean, it depends which ones they are. The problem is just to find them. So the person would need to know, and like I guess it's possible. I have some. ET archives them in order, but like they did. You have to know like from what time to what time. Like what's the one that's so it's yesterday, right?
Yeah, I told her, oh, you want the recording of the entire 14-hour video chat? She said, oh, it was 14 hours, you know. If I recall, she might have been referring to you and Jack's conversation after Jack learned about the NFTs.
Right. So she wanted
probably would
you
have been
missed
the
it, or?
apex of the entire day.
Right. She wanted to re-listen to it, or was there? She wanted to
Yeah,
do
or
something.
just, she wasn't DMing me. It was just in the regular chat, so I can't quote her on it. But it sounded like she either missed it or only caught a little bit of it, or
Okay.
yeah. But I could totally be wrong too. She's just wanting to hear the chat, and I asked which part. Said she's going on a road trip, so she wanted to listen to Telegram chat while on the road. No biggie. I just told her I would ask if I remembered, so I'm sure she'll survive without it. Hey, are you there, Honey Deals?
Yes, I am. Just finished dinner.
Is there any
Late.
any sort of updates you were able to find or news as far as being able to embed some of those picture files on the white paper translations or the
No,
mathematical was?
no,
Okay.
no. We're just on the translation part, and setting that up with Gandalf and doing stuff. I mean, I have a. It might not seem that way, but I have basically a a full-time job. So,
How do you do that?
what?
I said, how do you do that? My full-time job, just sitting around listening, just sitting around.
Yeah, that's kind of nuts. No, but my job doesn't need me. I can, I can follow, but I still have to do stuff. Right? I listen. That's why sometimes you'll say, "Are you there?" and it could take a few seconds before I arrive. And then I can, I can have my own schedule, but I do have stuff to do. And it's more so or less. So sometimes like today I wasn't here. But yeah, I can just keep going and whenever I can. And so tomorrow I'll be able to do some more of that. Get to the that part. I guess we're just gonna delete it, all the junk there, and kind of try to extract whatever there is. Probably my solution will be to take a picture. I'm just going to use the software, like exactly like the one I just suggested to you, Photo Impact.
Yeah.
Take a nice picture of the equation and just put it as a single image.
Yeah, I mean the equation you could fill out simply too on well, you should be able to. There might be
The equation doesn't
something on
need
there.
really translating, right? It doesn't need English,
No,
French, doesn't matter.
it doesn't pop up on there for some reason after you translate it.
It probably could have been, no, yeah, it could have been done. You know how to do it? Select the text, don't select the equation, right? Like don't do select all. Like if you just select the paragraphs that you want to translate, then you do the translation. You don't touch the equation, and then you
There you go.
translate the rest. Yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll go back to the English one, I'll copy it, and I'll paste it back.
Hey, I know you mentioned Claire Prisma Phoenix earlier. I just realized she sent me a message at like 12 hours ago. It's something about sending updates about translating Gitbook, but it all got changed, so I deleted the update. Sounds like she's trying to work on the Gitbook on the Zenpedia part of it.
Yeah, she got it working in French, but on the first page.
Okay, same issue that I sent and then realized later that it doesn't work on the second page.
I guess so. I didn't see that, but I guess so.
No, in that original message I sent, I said you could do the same thing with the Gitbook, but it just translates the first page, not the entire Zenpedia. But then I learned that you guys have API. They're like you have the possibility of running an API or whatever with it. So we already went over that.
Yeah. Well, the one I saw from her, there was actually a menu where you could select language, but there was just French and English. But even if you move to the second page and you selected French, it didn't translate it for some reason.
Oh man, ET's getting pretty serious about this no price chat thing now.
Hi, Honeydale. Are you there?
Hey, yes.
Hi. Um. Yeah. Now I want to bridge that Matic. I just want to get myself ready just in case the batch minting launches on Matic, and I thought maybe I should. Haven't done this before, so maybe you can work me through.
Well, do you remember? Do you remember the bridge?
The bridge is it a wallet.polygon.technology?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I can't confirm the address because it's been a while and I think they changed, but the look of it is definitely the official one. So there's not. I mean, if you click on it, you'll see the options that it offers you. It should offer you to
Let me
use some
hold on one sec.
BRC Matic and
1 second.
bring it to
Why this thing
Polygon.
is having an echo? Okay.
I mean,
So,
you should be around, regular Ethereum transaction.
so I don't know, but I opened up the bridge now. I'm in the wallet.polygon.technology.
Okay.
It's
There's the
open.
bridge.
So,
Do you see the bridge? There's like the page should be like there's many squares and different things, and one of them is the bridge. Not the
yeah, it says 1 second. Let me connect the wallet first. It's asking me before I do anything. Is it coming? No. So yeah, I see it says Polygon Bridge.
okay.
The first one is Polygon Wallet, Polygon Bridge, Polygon Staking, and Polygon Saved Bridge. So they do have two bridges here. One says Polygon Bridge, one says Polygon Safe Bridge. Are you there?
Yes. Sorry, I was talking with my mic closed.
Oh,
So
sorry.
yeah. So when you go to the Polygon Bridge, the normal one, the safe one, I don't know what it is. I can't remember seeing that. But just for starters, with the Polygon Bridge, what options are you seeing? It should be kind of straightforward.
So Polygon Bridge, you wrote underneath it, deposit and withdraw between network.
Yeah.
But the Polygon Safe Bridge, it says the safest and fastest way to bridge assets to the Polygon chain.
Okay. So, I mean, basically what I do simply check if the assets that you want to bridge over are compatible to what you want. So you want to be ERC20 on one side, obviously. You want it to specify it to be Polygon or MTC20 on the other side. Okay.
I just
And
want the one you can use to pay gas fee on Polygon. Like I have Matic, but it's Matic ETH, it looks like. So
I know exactly what you want to do. So ERC20 on one side, MTC20 on the other side, or Polygon. Okay, so Matic Polygon, it will say, for example. And the other one is the Matic ERC20. Okay, and then I would check the fees if you see any kind of cost to it, and then check if the safe bridge is more costly than the other one, and what the difference
Okay.
is, and you know, basically.
Okay. Let me see. Continue. Move funds from ETH Polygon to Polygon. Deposit of funds take 2 to 3 minutes. Okay. Okay. What's next? Let me say continue and see what it's gonna say. Complete deposits. Wow, minus $5. That's a lot of gas fee, though. Single
How much
transaction.
is it? $5?
Yeah, $5.21.
Yeah, that's not bad. I paid almost $20. The
Really?
last time I can remember, I paid $20, and that was kind of cheap. But it was average because you're paying ETH fees to do that. It's ETH. It's
Right.
not Polygon.
Yeah, this is ETH. I guess ETH Matic. So yeah, I guess you're right. It's not Polygon. ETH network to Polygon network. Okay. Okay, that's good. Okay, yeah, it's actually simple actually. When you know what you're doing, I guess. So
Yeah, it should be quite simple, straightforward, and it seems to be faster.
It's very simple.
Yeah.
Just didn't want to make mistakes. That's why.
Did you check the both of them? Is the safer one more expensive, or?
Oh, I didn't even check. But you know what? I can actually stop this right now because I haven't clicked confirm. I haven't signed it off on the Trezor. So okay, let me go back and check this one. Okay, user 1, user 2, user 3. Okay, Polygon bridge for safe. Let me see. And click there. MetaMask. Let me see if it's gonna be cheaper. Oops, we are sorry, there is no safe connected to your wallet. Oh, I guess this one you have to have safe. It says we are sorry, there is no safe connected to your wallet.
Okay, so it seems to be something. Okay, it's even safe. Yeah, that rings a bell. I never used it. Yeah, okay.
It's something different, I guess. We may have to have like safe wallet with Polygon or something.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thanks. This is cool. Thanks for your time, man. As always.
You're welcome.